All right, we're live. Shalom.
My brother.
Preface this by saying thoughts and views are my own. That's, opinions are my own, that they do not reflect my place of employment or anything else, but thoughts and views are my own. Okay. All right. John 21, sir.
John 21.
You ready to hit it?
Last chapter.
Let's do it.
I mean, we've been on this for what, 21 weeks?
Give or take, plus
21
or minus.
Wednesdays.
Plus or minus.
Plus.
Because we have feast in between. We had
some, we did 2 chapters.
Yeah.
We didn't do it Hanukkah.
Yeah.
So, been some time.
It's been a while.
That's right.
Don't do that.
No. Shalom. You want to make that maximize?
No, put it down.
I'm talking about the screen.
There you go. All right. John 21.
Okay. What's up, prayer?
Sure. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for being sovereign and just and true. We thank you for being mighty and merciful. We thank you that your arm is never too short and your ear is never too dull. We thank you that you are the Almighty and that you call us to walk in obedience to you. You call us to love you with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, Father. Forgive us for where we fall short, for where we battle in the mind, for where we succumb to the desires of our flesh, Father. So we ask that you would rise above, that you would shower us with your love, that you would sing songs of deliverance over us, Father, as we strive to grow and do better in your word and in your truth, and just loving our neighbor as you has commanded. So we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this last chapter of John. We thank you for an opportunity to just search the scriptures and to find you just all in it. So we thank you for this day. And in the name of Yeshua, our Messiah, we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, we'll start in John 21.
All right, hit it.
And it reads, after these things, Yahshua showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and on this wise showed he himself. There were together Simon Peter and Thomas called Didymus, and Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples. Simon Peter said unto them, I go a fishing. They said unto him, we also go with thee. They went forth and entered into a ship immediately, and that night they caught nothing. But when the morning was now come, Yahshua stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Yahshua. Mm-hmm. Then Yahshua said unto them, children, have ye any meat? They answered him, no. And he said unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find. They cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it for the multitude of fishes. Therefore that disciple, whom Yahshua loved, saith unto Peter, it is the Lord. Now when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he girt his fisher's coat unto him, for he was naked, and did cast himself into the sea. I'll stop right there for a second. Something my wife has brought to our Torah class, I think is a really good point. I think it's something that is important. It's something I don't think we should look over. And we talk about the cultural context and the author writing something and not necessarily going into any detail. Okay, so why is Peter naked in the boat? What is that? And I don't have I'm not about to go off into it, and I don't have an answer. But I just think that's one of those things where it's just, we're talking about stuff that's over 2,000 years old, and it was recorded for some reason, but that always sticks out to me, that part right there. And we live in a world now where people try to take it and try to flip it some other kind of way, but just the cultural context and the way the authors write, and not giving you every single dit and dot and dunk, and but just something to kind of think about. So that always kind of crosses my mind. We always talk about this in Torah class, especially when certain things come up that we just it's a completely different culture, different time, and we have to take it for what it is. And a lot of times, religion has taught us to take something and make nothing from it, as in something that don't make no sense, claiming it, and I see it, and I this and I that, and so on and so forth. So, but anyway, so we're back to verse 8. Okay. And the other disciples came in a little ship, for they were not far from land, but as it were 200 cubits, dragging the net with fishes. As soon then as they were come to land, they saw a fire of coals there, and fish laid thereon, and bread. Yahshua said unto them, Bring of the fish which ye have now caught. Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land full of great fishes, 153. And for all there were so many, yet not was the net broken. Yahshua said unto them, Come and dine. And none of the disciples does ask him, Who art thou? Knowing that it was the Lord. And I don't take this the wrong way, but it seems like they, I don't know, like we kind of talked about how Yahshua came up and how he looked. At one point he's with some of the sisters, and she didn't know who he's there. It's him. She didn't know it was him. And, you got folks who on the road to Emmaus. Mm-hmm. They're walking and talking, and it's him. They don't know it's him. Mm-hmm. And, and they know that it's him, but it's almost like visually.
Yeah, he looks different.
He hadn't revealed himself. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of one of them things where, we just gotta be looking with spiritual eyes. Mm. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you, and like I say, ain't nothing like the Torah. Ain't nothing like the commandments and the obedience. We've been saying this here lately. We have to be a praying people and spiritual people. Because there's going to be some things that's just, our weapons of warfare are not carnal. Mm. And we got to be able to see and know. We got to be able to see and know. And we got to be able to know him, even though it might not even look like him. Mm-hmm. We got to know that that's him. And a lot of times we can't receive the word from people because we don't really know him to begin with. And then if you hear him speaking, you're looking at people, and that's something we all have been. That's something religion has taught us to do, and we've been beat upside the head so much, that we can't think, we can't hear, we cannot shema. Mm. We just cannot shema. So, yeah.
Yes. Just on verse 6, he says, Cast the net on the right side of the boat and you will find some. And I just made a note of, following the directions of the king. I've been going through the book of Acts this week. And, they were accused, the disciples and the believers in Yeshua were accused of worshiping another king other than Caesar. That, they kept bringing them to court for worshiping Yeshua as king. And then, even with Paul, it was this thing with, hey, Paul, do this so you'll show them that you're not preaching against the Torah. So, it was just different things that stood out. And when he said cast the net on the right side or the right hand side, some of us would have went on the left, some of us would have went to the back of the boat, some of us would have went, right. Some of us would have did anything but what he just said. Some of us would have asked why. They would have said, why? We ain't called nothing all day. That would have been, but you don't see that. They didn't even know who it was. And okay, we'll go on the right side. And when they saw the multitude, that's when they said, oh, that's Yeshua. It was when they saw the multitude that the nets weren't broke, but it was huge. Then they knew who it was. Then they knew who it was that when he speaks, abundance is going to come. So that is what stood out so far.
Because I lost it. But he was no, it's not your fault. They couldn't see him. But it's kind of like early in John when he was saying, that if you don't believe my words, then here believe my works.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're hearing these words, okay, and they're going along, but man, they saw the work. Like they understood the fruit of what was being said. Here, cast net on this side, and a lot of times, we just got to do better. Just all the stuff to the side. We just got to do better. This is the ultimate bottom line, but they understood by the work, like they understood by the work.
Yes.
And unfortunately, if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, people should be judging or basing off of the work or the fruit.
Very true.
A lot of times people don't do that. People get fruit baskets mixed up. They don't know if it's a real basket or if it's a plastic. You ever seen the plastic fruit look so good? It look like it's real fruit. That's how works are today. That's how stuff is today. Stuff look real, and it's anyway.
Miss Bell made a good point. My sheep hear my voice, and I thought about that when he would say something. Like verse 12, Yeshua said to them, come and eat breakfast. Yet none of the disciples dare ask, who are you? Knowing that it was the Lord. Jesus then came and took the bread and gave it to them, and likewise the fish. So yeah. Can you consider Genesis 1:29 guideline and follow it as it points to what kind of food you should be living under?
Who's all saying that too?
I'm not sure. 129.
I'm talking about eating fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. And you shall see, yes, I see that. And then Leviticus 11 as well. And we had talked about that during Torah study. Josiah, we're recording right now, dear. So go back, baby. Go back, baby. No. In verse 27, God said, see, I've given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it shall be for food. And we talked about that originally that was the plan. And then when they get off the ark with Noah, you see that it changes, that he says, okay, now you can do this. You get to Leviticus 11, if not, then you're just sacrificing all these animals because of sin. That's where it came in. And then you have nowhere to go with them. So
yeah, I'm just curious if there's like a troll or somebody trying to what's the...
Well, they ate fish and bread, so.
Yeah, so. Anyway. Troll, if you troll, man, never mind.
Verse 14. Are you serious?
But we didn't have some trouble.
Yes, we have.
So I don't know. So I was gonna go back to the multitude of fish. That in Jeremiah 16, he says verse 16 and I knew control bringing true facts is possible.
And just you keep moving.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Bev. Got it.
Okay. Jeremiah 16 and 15.
Okay.
But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again to their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill out of the holes of the rocks. So, when they threw the nets out and they were dragging up all these fish, and this is at the Lord's direction, because I think it said they'd been out there all night.
Good point.
And they hadn't found nothing.
Okay.
So then all of a sudden this man is like, hey man, look over there.
Okay.
Throw your net over there. And it was so many.
Good.
So this could be, kind of like that, the seeds of him putting in them. Because when Yahshua was with them, clearly one of the main things on their mind is that, are you going to restore the kingdom? Are you going to restore order? Are you going to feel, all the prophecies and the parables and the riddles about, this anointed one? Like, are you going, because you're him, we know you him, are you going to do all these things? And once again, there's so much word in the Tanakh about him, what he's got to do, and that. So this could be like a seed or a fire starter being put in them, because odds when we get to Acts, we see, man, they on the go.
Yeah,
right? They're on the move, and they're going everywhere, and they are fishing for the people. Now it's about taking the gospel. Well, what is the gospel? Like, well, Mashiach has came, he was executed, and then Yah raised him up. He is the first fruits of the dead, as Paul or Shaul puts it so eloquently. So we could look at Jeremiah 16 and then look at that instant, because this is at the Lord's, that's the Master's calling, about them being able to be fishermen. And obviously, it would have to be, he would have to be the hand behind them, the force behind them, so that they could be these great fishermen, that they could do what they did, or do the example of pulling in all these fish, but the net not being broken.
Verse 15.
So when they had dined, Yahshua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonah, lovest thou more than these? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my lambs. He said unto him the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto them, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. And Yahshua said unto him, Feed my sheep.
Yeah, and Peter is the one that denied him, and so, like, you see the law of love. We've all had moments and periods and years of unfaithfulness, but there's still that room, that opening to return. That it's this constant opening to return. And he's saying, tend my sheep, feed my sheep, shepherd my sheep, tend my sheep. When you look at the Greek, the conversation goes back and forth from like agapeo to phileo, but when you look at it in the Hebrew and the Orthodox Jewish Bible, it's just ahava. It's just love. Which, when you look at that, it's this aspect of giving. It's a gift. So when he said that, he so loved the world that he gave his son, that was the gift. That is the gift. And I was thinking about that this week, Yeshua being offered as the Lamb of God, to take away the sins of the world, the lawlessness of the world. So do we continue to commit lawlessness? If that's why that, God forbid, so I was thinking about that. That's what I looked up love. Proverbs, really quick, Proverbs 8. And it's talking about wisdom. But in 8 and 17, it says, I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. And in reference to wisdom, and all that getting understanding. And chapter 9 is going to talk about the way of wisdom. Proverbs 8 and 17. And then you have Proverbs 9 talking about the way of wisdom. But I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. So that stood out, but that was a reference to Ahab. It's on you, brother.
I was reading the rest of that. Proverbs.
It was 8 and 17.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. That was really good. And I was taken to him denying him 3 times before the cock crew. Is that right? Cock crew.
Continue.
Okay. Before the cock crew thrice, 3 times, King James language. But that could be, I'm sure. I'm sure that was very traumatic for him. I'm pretty sure that was very traumatic for him. I'm pretty for all of them. And what I was thinking was that, and I'm sure they probably heard, and knew that, hey, he's back. He's up. He's appeared. We've heard. But that's kind of what I took out of that about those 3, the 3. Hey, feed my sheep, feed my sheep, feed my sheep. Because you also said you wouldn't, you would do this. I'd die for you. I'd do this. Nay, Lord. And sometimes, and that's what we say, you just got to be, spiritually stable and not emotionally driven. We say stuff, we do stuff, we get all up in the roar, and But verse 18. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, when thou wast young, thou girdest thyself and walkest whither thou would. But when thou shalt be old, thou shalt stretch forth thy hands, and another shall gird thee and carry thee whither thou wouldst not. This spake he, signifying by what death he should glorify God. And when he had spoken this, he said unto him, Follow me. So the relationship between the teacher and the student, the master and the servant, it has not changed. It's been elevated because the master has reached a new level. And, so now we see the students, following and doing the things that their teacher were doing, healing the sick, the blind, demons are fearful, We see this seed that we talked about. It's interesting. This guy brings up, or girl brings up, some food stuff what should be eaten in Genesis 1:29. What should have brought up was Genesis 3:15 about how the seed of the woman, it can crush the seed of the serpent's head. So now we see, the relationship between the teacher and the master, and we see the teacher and the student, or the master and the servant, and now we see the master elevated on like a whole new level, and we see the students replicating what the teacher was doing, right? So when we get to Acts and we see, brothers are just walking in their shadow, right? So you will do these things and more, right? They shadow, go across the sick, folks jumping up. They shadow, right? So remember what the book said, that you will do these things and more. So brothers shadow, or they speaking to entities, and the entities must go. So we see this Genesis 3:15. We see the power in the feet, right? Wasn't it in Isaiah about how precious are the feet that bring the good news, the good tidings. So this is something that we all we have the ability to walk in. Our feet can constantly bring us good news, and it can constantly step on the seed of the snake's head and bruise or crush their head. So, so we see this relationship still good. It's like, hey, it's kind of like, when people apologize different. Or some people like let you know, hey man, like don't even worry about it. Like it's all good. It's kind of like y'all should like, hey man, like it's all good. Just make sure. All right, we're gonna get this cleared up. If you love me, feed my sheep. You love me, feed my sheep. You love me, feed my sheep. Okay, we good. All right, well look here, follow me. And as I say in Acts, man, like them guys was kicking some butt now, kicking some butt. Verse 20. Then Peter turneth about, seeth the disciple whom Yahshua loved, following, which also leaned on his breast at supper, and said, Lord, which is he that betrayeth thee? Peter, seeing him, saith to Yahshua, Lord, and what shall this man do? Yahshua saith unto him, if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. Then went this saying abroad among the brethren, that the disciples should not die. Yet Yahshua said not unto him, he shall not die, but if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? This is the disciple which testified of these things and wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true. And there are also many other things which Yahshua did, the which, if they should be written every one, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written. Amen.
Amen.
You have anything?
No, the follow me. And then when it said, if it would that he remain till I come, what is that to you? You follow me. Like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You're in your lane. You're supposed to be following me. And so you can get caught up with, again, what you see on social media, what you see on Facebook, and people have, all kind of stuff that, they're doing or getting or acquiring or being elevated to. And, if that's not what he called you to, then you can't be like, oh, I wish I was, in that position. Oh, I wish I had, because he's told you to cast your nets right here, and he's told you to follow him. So that has to be your focus, and he'll elevate you in due time. Yeah. But we have to be diligent. Like, it can't be, a sloppy job in our following. No, we gotta step that up.
Very, very good point.
Yeah, very true. Same as the workers that came early, and same ways to those late in the day. Yep. Yes, yes, yes.
That's well, that's been our study of John. Um, it's been good. It's been a lot of good stuff, some stuff that we we kind of overlook some stuff sometime, and it was really good
Right
study.
there.
And um, and that's a strong thing to say right in verse 25. And there are also many other things which Yahshua did, the which if they should be written, every one, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written. And it just lets us know that, that's why there was probably such a push to get them killed, right? Because we're not really dealing with the Pharisees and scribes and all them. We're dealing with the principalities behind them, right? We're dealing with the fallen, right? We're dealing with all these different other entities that are pushing humans and kind of, treat them like Muppet babies and robots or what you call them, string baby, whatever.
Hand puppets.
Hand puppets. Thank you. So we kind of see the urge because he was probably doing a lot of stuff that we probably don't even know that Yahshua was doing. And that he was truly being that Genesis 3 and 15, and that he was causing chaos. And that's why I think this way John is ending. And we're seeing this relationship between teacher and student. Sometimes, we have relationships with people, and sometimes they go to another level. Sometimes traumatic things happen. People that's fought in wars and in the military, and both made it. We brothers for life. We whatever for So sometimes just things happen, and we see this with Yahshua and with Cephas, and we see why he's such a primary figure as we get into Acts, and this movement. I mean, he is, at the forefront. Once again, he swung the sword earlier or a couple of chapters ago, right? And Yahshua told him to get swords. He was swinging swords, but it's not until we get into Acts where he realizes how to swing the sword. That sword is the word, right? And he swung that sword so good, he cut people. He didn't use it, Now, when Brother Malcolm, he cut his ear off. But when he came to the others, when he started cutting with that word, the response was, "What must we do to be saved?" So he figured it out. So we see the growth of the students of the Talmudim, and we have to be growing too. Right, as we come to the end of this study, we get to see their ups and downs, their flaws, their lowest spots. Probably one of the lowest points for Cephas. You know how it is, man. How people are. Say, man, you done ran your mouth and said all the stuff you done said, and now look at you. You hide. You chicken. You scary cat. You yellow back. So we get to see the rise, their fall. We get to see them make it. We get to see all kind of stuff. We have to realize, I think, but she was just saying that. What you say earlier about us doing the same? You kind of said something like that, didn't you?
I don't remember exactly.
It was good. Don't worry about it. It was good. It's on tape. Hit that rewind button. But we're really no different than them. We're going to all get paid the same thing. And that's what the book say. We all get paid the same thing. My contract. I'm on a bigger contract than y'all. But anyway, thank you, guys. That's John closing out in 21. And we'll pick up next week. I don't know what we're going to pick up in. However y'all leave is what we'll be in next week and going forward. We got a couple ideas. But anyway, so with that being said, peace to all tribes of Israel. Peace to all of the believers who believe in Messiah, believe in Yahshua, believe in Jesus. Okay, Jesus Christos. and just got to know what you've been grafted into. There's a standard that's been set, whether or not you cognizant or not. Okay, the standard has been set, and hopefully, people will, start figuring it out, or start, run across these videos, or I don't know, something, but there's a standard that has been set, and a lot of people are in this body, and the body can't be sick forever, because we know who the head is. He only gonna go for so long before we start. I think it's in Revelation 2 or 3 before we start bombing them out and getting them out. But anyway, you got anything else?
No, that's it. Okay. All right. Shalom, shalom.